Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mr. Charles.
How are
Good
you
evening,
guys?
sir, Mr. Charles.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Charles.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Okay, I'm sorry we couldn't have our meeting yesterday, so I probably will carry it over to the next status updates. So because tonight we are going to continue with business analysis. I know the project is progressing, so let's push this business analysis so that we'll have enough knowledge to work on the BA deliverables. Yeah. All right. Without wasting time, we're going to start. Last time we started requirement analysis. We did modeling and we did a little bit of gap analysis, but we didn't treat it so much. So we're going to continue with requirement analysis. So we are not going to start daily requirement analysis from the scratch. We've done that. Yeah. So, like this map, I know so many of you have started on this map. Like the day we finished, I know somebody like H produced a similar one as well. Because of that, I know it's doable. So many of you must have done it. So, and if you have done it, I will encourage you guys to move to requirement gap analysis on the process map you've done. Use example of what I illustrated here to carry out one. So let's look at gap analysis fully. When we're talking about gap analysis, we'll try to understand the gap in a process or in a situation, a state where there is challenges. What is that problem? What is that issue causing the problem? So with that, we'll try to find out if it's a gap, if there is a gap that we need to fill up, or if there is a recurring problem that needs permanent solution. So that will determine the kind of analysis we are going to use in any analysis. But like I said, we've started with gap. We know what is gap, trying to identify gaps. We have other examples like looking at food. I say that gap can not only be in software development, or it can be just in any state. You can find gap in any process. So that is why we try to map out processes to help us understand the gap within a process. This example here will help us to understand the process serving customers food in a restaurant. That particular situation or that particular state, like I say, situation, there is a challenge there. The challenge is taking long to serve food. It takes longer than required. Customers are complaining they cannot wait to up to 14 minutes before they can get their food served. And if this kind of thing continue, that restaurant is likely going to close up because customers, all of them are going to move to where they are going to get faster service. So where the problem lies there is slow service. So they need to get their service faster. That is the process here. The gap in this process is delay. So what are the percentage or what are the amount of delay in this situation? When you carry out investigation, talking to customers, you find out that customers are looking at, yeah, I want my food to be served within 11 minutes or within 10 minutes. You can issue out survey to customers. You are trying to understand the customer's preference time. You can list time from 1 minute to 10 minutes or even 14 minutes to understand customers' preference. So in a situation like that, you see most of the customers say, yeah, at least, if they're using that at least, if they can serve the food at least within 11 minutes or at least within 10 minutes, that will help you to know the amount of time, customers' preference. That will then help you to know that most of the customers want their food to be served within 11 minutes, and you guys are it's taking 40 minutes to serve. With the survey or requirement gathering from the customers, understanding their preference, you know that the gap is 3 minutes. With this, as a BA, you've already identified the gap. We find out that there is delay. The problem is delay. So when there is delay up to 3 minutes upwards, customers are not going to be happy. So for your customers to be happy, you need to be as fast as you can to deliver within 11 minutes. Anything outside 11 minutes, customers are not going to be happy. That is gap.
Where's the bucket?
Yeah, Sandra, please put yourself on mute. Okay. That is how to find out gap. You can use any method to fish out gap. But for me, the most important thing is you need to map out the process. Okay, once you find out the gap, this is there, then the problem, for you to solve the problem, you need to find a way, like looking at this example, you gather more requirement from the people working in the kitchen to help them increase the amount of time, reduce the amount of time they take to serve food. It could be just rearranging the kitchen, training them on how to use some of the kitchen equipment. That could be. Another one could be you can even decide to go online so that customers can book their food ahead of time before coming, so that you guys will start preparing their food even before they come. It's another way. So it's left for you to find ways. It can be technology. It can just be normal rearrangement within the work environment to reduce the time. So it's just a kind of example for us to understand gap and gap analysis further. Another gap here we see is audit report. In this situation, the current audit, external auditors are scoring the company 60%. You know, so it's considered poor. At 60%, it's considered poor, the audit reports. Now, according to the external auditors, you should be able to score around 90% for you to pass the audit. What it means is that we have a gap of 30%. How do we improve from 60 to 90%? That is the gap here. You must find a way. Why is the audit poor? You find action to improve on. This is a simple gaps. Simple gap, you can perform simple gap analysis here. Here you can improve documentation and control of documents, comply with legal and other requirements, maintain all external and internal communication record. If you find out that this is where there is bureaucratic or quality documentation, maybe you don't even have a record system, it might be an opportunity to implement a document or recording system for your organization. This is simple gap analysis in action. Once this is done, you find out that the quality of accounting or the workflow or documentation will be improved. And when the auditors come, they will see that there is a high standard and they will increase the rating, the score of audit. They'll be able to score it. So this is gaps. This is where we see gap. That is what most of the organizations are suffering, one gap or the other gap. Gap is equally an opportunity. When you discover gap and fill that gap up, it's an opportunity. It's an improvement, serious improvement that can help company to grow. Looking at this audit report, you see a gap here is 30%. This is an opportunity for improvement, big opportunity. So if they work hard to fill this gap, it means the company has improved by 30%. Their standard has improved. So you can apply this in so many areas. For instance, if the sales department, if you mirror this audit reports to sales department, their current sales is at 60%, and the organization give them this kind of benchmark for success, they must have 90%. So this is an opportunity for the sales to improve. So sales need to find any way possible to improve to hit 90% expectation. Once they hit 90% expectation, that is improvement. It means they must have increased their sales by 30%. That is big, huge improvement for the organization. So that is gap. So when we're talking about gap, we're talking about helping organization improve. A very big approach or technique in business analysis to improve our processes in the organization. Whatever we do in the organization is continuous improvement. Not only organization, in our life. Your life has to be continuous improvement. You need to, if you want to start this gap analysis on yourself, you're giving yourself a target where you want to be at some particular period of time. And when that time comes, you find out that you are not making headway, then you have to find out what is happening to me. You evaluate yourself to find out where is the gap here. You find out that if you fill that gap, then you have to, your quality of life can just improve. For instance, if you have added weight, you can say, I want to be wearing 70 kg. That is my target. At all time, I want to be 70 kg so that I can be fit, I can be light. But you find out at the end of every month, whenever you go to check your weight, you find out you are still on 100 or 120. So that is a big gap. Looking at your targets, what do you need to do? You want to improve? You have to find a solution. Solution can be healthy eating. Solution can be hitting the gym and things like that. You find out that once you start eating healthy, like if you for us men who can decide that every evening I hang out somewhere, before I go home, I take 5 bottles of beer, to cool head. As you are cooling head, you are adding up. So this is gaps in your life. You can say, okay, I have to start going out with Mr. H. Mr. H is now a bad influence. You cut Mr. H off. That is a solution. If Mr. H is the person always dragging you to beer parlor, you want to be 70 kg, but every time Mr. H will just close from work and you drive through your workplace, say, hey, you jump in. You go take 5 bottles with Nkwobi, and this year will go back. Every month you'll be hitting 120 kg. You have to find a way. These are solutions. I want to commonize this business analysis that is not just in the organization. We can apply it in our everyday life. Business analysis is all about solving problems. It's not about, if you understand it very well, you can solve numerous problems around you, around your company, within your community. You become a problem solver. So that is it. You find out you cut out those bad influence. You don't go to beer parlor. You go to gym. Instead of going to beer parlor, you close work early. You find out that the other colleague, Elijah, you see Elijah, you say that Elijah is looking fit. You join Elijah as they are closing work. Instead of going to beer parlor, I know a lot of people. Instead of going to beer parlor as they are closing work, they are going to gym. From office, they drive to gym, have small time in the gym, they go home. If you want to be 70, then you need to change your life pattern. Instead of going to beer parlor, you go to gym. Hit 1 hour in gym, you drive home. Before you know it, you become 70. That is serious improvement. You can apply it in your finances as well, not only in your body weight or health. And you see your finances is increasing. Like so many of us women, you see so many women, they must go out for Ashebi. If they are not going out for Ashebi any weekend, all their body will be peppering them. They didn't go for Ashebi this, or they didn't go for one party or the other. And the cloth they are wearing for one party, last party, it will be a different cloth. They need to be on top of the game. That is how they are changing their weave-on. That is how they are changing their eyelashes. That is how they are changing their nails. And they will be complaining, I can't buy a house. So they are this person, they will, fighting their husband. This person, they bought mortgage. This people, they do that. They did, you yourself, you can decide to improve your spending by cutting out all these irrelevant activities that, liquidate you. You don't buy clothes every weekend. You don't make eyelashes every weekend. All those activities, because why do you want to make all those? You need to look good all the time because you are going out to show. Once you stop that kind of show, you reduce your expenditure and your income will start improving. You might start looking at using that money to buy a land. If you save it for 6 months, you can go buy a small land somewhere. That is small, and they will be appreciating. You can even go down and start laying foundation. That is it. You find all those things that are draining you, stay away from them. And when you are starting it, it's going to be difficult. But over time, you get used to it. So these are gaps. So we can apply it. Business analysis can be applied in every aspect of our life, not only in the organization. Let's try to practice it in our life even before we go and teach organization how we are going to save money for them, how you are going to improve their processes. Okay, let's look at root cause analysis. We're talking about gap analysis. Root cause analysis is a problem-solving technique used to identify underlying causes of a problem. Rather than simply addressing the symptoms, it helps in preventing the reoccurrence of the issue by addressing the root cause. Root cause. You find out that you'll be having constant headache. All the time you have constant headache, you go room to the pharmacy. Pharmacy will mix something for you. Very soon it will become okay. Next month you will start again. This constant headache on your head here. Always, you do not want to make out time to go visit your GP or go to the hospital. You don't want to run tests. You just want to be scratching it from the surface. That is root cause. When you want to apply root cause analysis to constant headache, you need to go for proper examination, medical examination. You need to go for urine analysis. You need to submit your blood for test. You need to even go for ultrasound. Check yourself very well to know what is happening to you. You might find out that all this constant headache might be that you have developed an ulcer. Yeah? And you are just thinking it's just headache, yeah, this headache. That is a root cause on your personal health. You apply root cause, you have to drill down, keep checking till you have to test and test and test and test and test until there is nothing, no more tests to carry out. If you want to know what is the real cause of your problem, go to hospital, tell them all the tests a human being can carry out. All the tests. They will give you a list of all the tests. You undergo through all the tests. By the time you go through all the tests, there is nothing more to test. You must find out what is wrong with you. So that is root cause analysis. Okay, so let's explore it deeper. Steps to guide us in root cause analysis. First, define the problem. Clearly state the problem we are trying to solve. You must agree that there is a problem. Example, order on an e-commerce platform are frequently delayed. This is a delay. Business and delay do not go hand in hand. When somebody brings out its money to patronize you, the person demands a better service. Even if the person did not bring out the money, even if when somebody brings out their time, that is commitment. Time is money, you know. It's not only physical money that is money. You know, time is money. So, okay, now we've agreed there is a delay here, a delay in order in an e-commerce service. What do we do? Collect data. Gather information and evidence related to the problem to understand its scope and impact. Example, collect data on delay order, including customer complaint, delivery record, and vendor timeline. Everybody that is part of this delivery, order and delivery, you must collect every information around them. Then identify possible causes. There is no way you can just point and say this is the problem. It's a delay. A lot of people are involved here. So it's not one person. To help you to get down to the bottom, you must have to brainstorm, identify possible causes. We can use what we call 5 why. It can be more than 5. You can be beyond 5. We call it why. So it can be the more than 5 whys. You can use 5 whys. You can use 7, 8. So the bottom is that why here is that you keep asking why is this thing happening until you are in a stage where you can't ask why again. It becomes a loop, kind of. When you ask why, you start where you are trying to. So at that point, you know that, yeah, at this point, you analyze all the whys, and within that, you find out there is a problem, where the problem is coming from. We have what we call fishbone diagram. We use fishbone diagram as well, call it cause and effect. That is what fishbone diagram. So that is another way. A fishbone diagram is a very important technique. We are going to explore it very soon. It's very important technique in root cause analysis. So we use why, or we use fishbone diagram. Now, let's look at why. Example, we see we decide to use 5 whys. But if you see here, while we're on the mission to 5 whys, we stopped at 3 whys. Number 1, why are orders delayed? Because vendors are not processing them on time. Why are vendors slow in processing? Because they are not receiving order notification promptly. Why are order notification delayed? Because the notification system is experiencing technical glitches. All you need to do is, the notification is where when somebody places order, boom, the notification. So this is all you need to do is find out where there is technical glitches and sort it out, and you find out that everything, you clear the process. So you identify the possible cause, determine the root cause, analyze and identify causes, determine the root causes by looking for most fundamental issues. The root cause could be unreliable notification system, which we've seen having technical glitches. Then develop a solution. How do we solve this problem? We develop solution. So this is what you are going to be finding yourself doing as a business analyst. In most cases, you can be solving big problems, you can be solving small problems, but this is what organizations want you. As a business analyst in a company, you see marketers, they will come. Sales units, they will come. Accounting, they will come. Everybody will come for you to help them solve their problem. That is what you are there for. Okay, developing solution, that is what we are here for. We develop solutions. If you are looking at the project we are working on, at this moment you are trying to find a solution. ERP is a solution to a problem. All of you know the problem you are working on at the moment. So you develop a solution. Once the root cause is identified, propose and implement a solution to prevent the issue from recurring. Example, upgrade the notification system to ensure timely order processing. So if this project you guys are working after your bootcamp, I told you people that an e-commerce did this, they are having a delay and they want to. It's a big project. Now you guys be working on upgrading a notification system. It's a big project so that we will stop this delay. When I place order, like now we have, if you come to UK here, we have different e-commerce platform. The one that gives you the most peace of mind is the one we are going to work with. If Amazon is when you place order on Amazon, they will tell you in the advertisement that is next day delivery. And it's then going to be next week delivery. You pay for next day delivery and you are getting it in 1 week. That is a very big dent on their personality, on their image. People are going to abandon them. But Amazon is known for their promptness. If they tell you next day delivery, very early, if they said it's going to be between 1 to 5, between that 1 to 5, you must get your delivery. If they say that it's going to be the same day delivery, if you are using Amazon Prime, the same day delivery, as you're ordering it, you are going to get it that day. They will tell you that if you book by 5, you are not getting it. But anything outside 5, you are going to get it. I've tried it and it's working. So it's a big project. If you can fix this kind of problem for an e-commerce, it's a big you are solving a big problem for them as a BA. Okay, then you do implement and monitor. Apply the solution and continuously monitor the system to ensure the problem does not reoccur. Track vendor processing time after system upgrade to ensure improvement. So that is root cause. You in this scenario, you use why, and you see you solve the problem. It's different from, we didn't use gap analysis here, but we are here, we have still arrived at a solution and we arrived at solving the problem. Then we have another root cause analysis technique called, which I said is fishbone diagram. Fishbone diagram is called cause and effect. Cause and effect. So here we see the increase. The problem here is the increase. Why do we call it, okay, why do we call it fishbone diagram? It's simply because it looks like the bone of a fish. If you're looking at it, you see a skeleton of a fish. That's why we call it fishbone diagram. And the problem here is increased invoice error. In this problem, the error is always there. Why do we have this increased invoice error? We want to have a permanent solution. And if you want to do that, you look at all the factors possible. Okay, we have so many factors where this increase in error can come from. It can come from the method we are using. It can come from the equipment we are using. It can come from the environment. It can come from the material we are using. It can come from the way we measure or man, which is the human resources we are using. All these, or it can come in a combination of all these factors. That's why I said, if you are having a headache, constant headache could be from a lot of things. It can come from your heart. It can come from your leg, hand, tummy. It can come from a lot of places. A lot of things can cause constant headache. It can come from stress. So in a situation like that, when you give your urine sample, it might not be enough. You might decide to give urine sample, give blood sample, do as many, anything that is connected to your body. Try to do a lot of tests. By the time you finish all these tests, you find out where you are having constant headache. You know? So this is it. That is the way you see this fishbone diagram work. Here we see under method, why we're having constant error during the invoice is that it can come from the method. Cumbersome process or manual entry can lead to that. It can come from the equipment we are using, inadequate printer, incompatible system, or system not integrated. It can be from this. Environment, noisy environment, poor ergonomics. These are, all of them can cause it. Material, poor paper quality, delay in paper supply can be the reason. Poor measure, poor audit system. Nobody is even monitoring what is going on to audit the standard. It can be from that. Nobody cares about it. So, and then we have man. Man is human resources. Low morale. If they are being owed 2 months' salary not paid to a family man, and they want the man to be working like Jack, it's not gonna be possible now. The man will just be there thinking about my life. What have I done? God, why? And they will say, where is the invoice? All in your head is God, why? So when the morale is low, that is always the case. You see somebody who is very intelligent because the morale is low, is not giving enough. So increase workload. When somebody is carrying the whole office work, everybody, everything. Mr. Wilson, do this. Mr. Wilson, come do that. Mr. Wilson, everything. Mr. Wilson, how much is even Mr. Wilson? And how much are they even paying with Mr. Wilson? Everything. You know, all these things can affect, you know, even if you are very good, there is a way they will use you. Even horse, I think the way you use horse will become angry. But all of us know that horse has a horsepower. Poor technical support. They want you to do everything, but there is no equipment for you to use and do your work. Nothing. So these are what we call, you see that is a collection of any factor that can lead. By the time you go through all these 6 factors, you pin down where you can see how you drill down. That's called root cause. You have to go through so many, you have to evaluate a lot of factors before you can get down to that. So that is what we call root cause analysis. Noisy environment distract employees, lead to error. Poor ergonomics, discomfort can reduce efficiency and focus. Equipment, inadequate printer may cause misprint or delay. Incompatible system could lead to error when transferring or processing invoice data. System not integrated, lack of automation increases human error. Method, cumbersome process, complex workflow can increase the likelihood of mistakes. Manual data entry, prone to human error due to typos or misinterpretation. Material factor. Other material factors have poor paper quality, can affect the readability of the invoice. Delay in paper supply, interrupt workflow, lead to, when the paper supply is now here and they'll start rushing everything, it leads to rushed and incorrect invoices. Measure, poor audit, lack of proper checks, result to nobody is checking what is happening. It's only when there is a problem, everybody wants to come and start blaming. Man, low morale, the motivation of employees, the motivated employees may not pay attention to details. When you owe somebody for 2 months, you want the person to do magic. It doesn't work. Increase workload. Overburdened employee may rush tasks and make mistakes. Poor technical support. Employees may struggle to resolve system-related issues, increasing mistakes. So, conclusion, in this kind of situation, primary root cause of incorrect invoices can be a combination of human, process, and system inefficiencies. And key areas of improvement can be automating invoice processing. So in this kind of situation, if you are a business analyst, you can say, okay, these people are still struggling. What do I do? Let's automate it. When we automate it, the way they generate invoice is going to reduce. You can recommend it for them, implementation of automation of invoice processing in XYZ Limited. You have come up with a very powerful solution, and it becomes a project. And now they start looking for project manager to start the work. Or improving system integration and technical support. This is another powerful solution. If you go, you will see all this kind of projects going on. We are looking for a BA to support improvement, or we are looking for a project manager to lead the improvement system and integration and technical support. We are looking for a project manager to lead the implementation of automating invoice process to reduce manual errors. Enhancing the work environment by reducing noise and ensuring ergonomic setup. So it's not only by implementing technologies. You can do that by enhancing the work environment. Rearrange the work environment. If there is noisy, you can install noisy or, installations. Addressing workload issue through better staffing or optimizing process. You can find out that the team you are leading, they are all struggling. If you are a good project manager, you should know when your team are struggling. Serious delays. You find out that one person is working as a business analyst, is equally working as a tester, is working as a quality assurance, is working as a UX UI designer. Is one person in a big organization. They are calling him in finance, they are calling him in human resources, they are calling him Mr. H. Come, because Mr. H everywhere. Before you know it, the guy will start even making mistakes. So that is it. So this is a way. If in situation, then get more staffs. Get more staffs. Even in football, when one person is trying to do everything, you are the defender. You still want to go and score goal, and you still want to, at times you even want to become the goalkeeper. Even Messi no reach to that one. So that is it. So that is how we solve problems as BAs. You see that you can use, when we started with gap analysis, you see how gap analysis, how we can model, find a gap within the process. But you can see now how we can use root cause analysis, applying why. By the time we are driving at why, we solve the problem. Now we can see that this problem is complex, and we apply fishbone diagram. We want to look at everything, all the possible factors. We dissect all the factors. Dissecting all these factors, you see where where the problem is lying. By the time you do all those things, you see why you are having internal bleeding. Somebody is having internal bleeding. The last, he went for a surgery and they forget a scissors on the person's stomach, and they will causing you headache. You cause it. So something like that. You go for overhauling. Any kind of checkup. At times it can be very, very costly. At times when we are sick. But if you have resources, at times it's good you go for total check. That's what we do in business analysis when we are trying to apply root cause analysis. So that's how to perform root cause analysis, and that's how to perform gap analysis. These are prominent analysis, prominent way we use At times, we find a situation that we have to even combine them as we are growing and becoming advanced. You find out you can even start a combined root cause analysis, gap analysis. You have to do whatever you need to do in order to solve complex problems. And that's why they're always looking for you, because you understand this more than other people. You combine complex situations. So we have fishbone diagram, cause and effect analysis. So I made this for us to read up. It's very important for us to understand this fishbone diagram. As a business analyst, is one thing we need to understand. That is what making us standing out as professional. You know, understanding only gap analysis is not enough when you call yourself a consultant, a professional. So here we have the purpose of fishbone, components of fishbone diagram, steps in creating fishbone diagrams, advantages of fishbone diagrams, limitation of fishbone diagram, and conclusion. Comparison of gap analysis and root cause analysis. Here you see gap analysis focuses on identifying differences between the current and the desired state to guide improvement efforts. This is where we are. This is where we want to be. What is the differences? What is the gap? Root cause analysis focuses on identifying the root cause of a problem and developing a lasting solution. Both techniques are essential for requirement analysis, but they are applied in different contexts. Gap, when aiming to achieve a new goal. Root cause, when solving your current problems. Problems. We're having constant headache. Next month, you take paracetamol, you will go. Next month, you start, and at the same place. And another month, you continue. So it becomes a recurring problem. You know, as a teacher, you find out that one particular child comes to school every late. Tomorrow you call the child, you flog him. You don't come to school again, late again. He said, okay, I'll try. Next tomorrow, you see that particular child coming to school late. That's becoming a recurring problem. At times, if you're a good teacher, you want to understand, why is this child always coming to school late? You need to find out what is even going on at the home. What is going on? Why is this child coming to school late all the time? Here in UK, they take it up. They even call social workers. It's a big case here in UK. If you don't even take time, if you're a child, you can even lose the custody of your child. You know? So in this situation, they tend to apply root cause analysis. They need to dig deep to know whether there is abuse. Find out that even the child does not sleep, or if the child overwork, there's something that makes the child come too late. So, yeah, so these are recurring problems. Practical applications. Gap analysis, useful when planning a project's development roadmap, such as expanding business operation, introducing new technology, or launching new services. Root cause Ideal for troubleshooting ongoing issues within a project, such as inefficiencies in a system, recurring product defects, or customer service problems. 5 whys techniques in root cause analysis. I started it, I captured so many other examples in these 5 whys, or why. This is a clear example in why again. This is the problem, and you see how many whys that follows. Like I said, the whys can be more than 5. You can even use 8 whys. I just got caught speeding by a speed camera. You got caught by a speed camera. Why? I drove fast because I was late to work. Why? Because I got up late. Why? Because my alarm clock didn't work. Why? Because batteries were flat. Why? Because I forgot to replace it. To find out that why, this is the simple reason why they give you a ticket. That is the simple reason. You forgot to replace your alarm. So if you can even ask why, you can. So the point here is that you need to keep asking till you are where you are comfortable that yes, this is why this is happening. So in so many problems we're having, instead of us trying to find out the root cause of the problem, the first thing that will come to our mind is, what? Who can help me finish? You have a recurring problem. The next thing that will come to your mind is village people. These people, they don't want to leave it alone. No, it's not village people. At times you have to sit down, do thorough analysis, ask questions. Why this is happening? Follow it up, ask all the whys to get all the Z. So it's important. Everything. I'm not saying that we don't have village people. Everybody comes from the village, and to be honest with you, they never like you when you think. But there are so many people in the village that loves you as well. Okay. With your team, using the 5 whys, like I said, you continue to ask questions and you get the answer. Another why case study here is customer complain about delay test result at laboratory. Why? Because our laboratory has too much workload. Why? Because more requests for COVID-19 tests continue to come in. Why? Because more people need to be tested for the virus. Why? Because the country is facing another new wave of virus. You continue to ask, and you find out that too many, you can equally say, why? Because we don't have enough staff to process the result. And what? Hire more medical staffs, help with COVID-19 testing. So these are simple problems, simple techniques we can apply without even having to talk about technology. In this process now, in this last example, you can solve this problem as a business analyst without implementing any digital technology. No technology here is allowed. You know, what you do, carry out analysis and make recommendation, and they will start recruitment process. At this point, you have ignited a project for the human resources department. They will go into action to evaluate the number of staffs needed to make sure that they mop up this delay, they stop this delay. Yeah, it can be hiring ad hoc staff to push, making sure that as soon as the COVID-19 wave is over, they can be laid off. From the beginning, they know that they are ad hoc workers. So many countries use that. Here in UK, they use this approach as well. They hired more workers, ad hoc workers, even volunteers, to mop up the delay. And the system were able to function very well. So that's it. Try to go through the notes and you'll get to understand it very well. It's important. This is the way we solve problems. These are various ways. Everything is not just implementing this or that technology. You can handle a project that is not, doesn't mean you don't need to implement a digital enterprise like CRM or ERP. Everything is not CRM. Everything is not ERP. Some problems can be, you can use some techniques like this and solve the problems. So that's it. Thank you for listening. And yeah, we'll stop in it here. As you are progressing in business analysis, you tend to know more ways, like this Six Sigma. Six Sigma is another. You start building on belts. You have black belts, green belts. You start building on all those belts as business analyst. But these are all the various requirements you can carry out, requirement analysis you can carry out to understand the problems. All these things is for you to understand where the problem. When you understand the problem, what next? You start looking for solution. And that is what is going to lead us to what we call solutions evaluation. Solutions options. Evaluating different solutions out there. We've done our thorough gap analysis. We'll find out the gap. We've done a thorough root cause analysis. We'll find out the root cause of the problem. All these require solutions. They are not the solution itself. Root cause analysis is not a solution. Gap analysis is not a solution, but they will lead you to where you find the problem. And once you find the problem, they say, once you know the problem is half solved when you realize what is the problem. So many companies, they don't know what is doing them. They don't know what is causing the challenges. Some of us, we are not healthy. We don't even know why we are not healthy. It's a big problem. You are not well, and you don't know why you are not well. Or you know that you are not well. So, yeah. So the next class is going to be what we call solutions evaluations. That's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. If you have questions, good and fine. We can talk about it. All right. I'll see you tomorrow where we are going to be talking about solutions evaluation. To understand how to, because you are finding a problem, but if you want to solve this problem, you find out there's millions of solutions. You become even more confused on how, yes, I know For instance, now you know you have a headache. You know, you have a headache, or you know you have an ulcer. If you go to the pharmacy to buy a medicine for ulcer, the pharmacy will list 20 ulcer medications from different reputable pharmaceutical companies. What do you will even be more confused? They will tell you, buy this one, this. They will tell, so it's now left for you to decide. That's why we cannot do it on our own. You have to look for professionals that will guide you to buy the necessary one that will help you. Madam Njideka Asusu, what can I do for you?
Good evening, Mr. Charles.
Put your camera on, Madam Njideka.
It's on. My camera is on.
Oh, I can't see you. And you know, I'm the only one that not see you.
Camera
Okay.
is on.
You are using two devices and you don't know which one you are working.
Okay, no, my doesn't have audio. My laptop doesn't have audio.
Okay.
That's right. Okay, so I wanted to ask that in terms of requirements, I came across information about epics and features, and then what we call high-level requirements. I don't know whether it's already covered or it's something we're still going to do.
High level requirements.
And epics and features in terms of
Epic
requirements.
and what?
Epics and features. Features.
Epics and features. You have to find out the solution you are looking for before you know the kind of features, the solution and requirements. You already have we not done requirement gathering on how to document requirements? You know what to call functional requirements. You
Yes,
know
I don't have to gather requirements, but in terms of
I'm not hearing you.
yes, we have done the types of requirements, like you have mentioned, business requirements. We have the solution requirements and the stakeholder requirements. But in terms of classification of requirements, I think you have the epics and the features before you start talking about. I think it's from there you now start talking about the user stories. But in terms of the epics and features,
you see, in terms of classification of requirements, how do we classify requirements?
No, in terms of levels of requirements, like the epics are like okay.
There's nothing like levels of requirements, Madam Njideka. Okay. I don't know where you read that up, but there's nothing like levels of requirements. If you go through the notes, we have functional requirements. You know, we have technical requirements. We have different types of, but there's nothing like levels of requirements. We have high-level requirement and low-level requirement. High-level requirement is a chunky one, is at a very high level. Low-level requirement, when we break them down. But before we start breaking them down, is when we find a solution, when we're trying to convert business requirements into technical requirements. That is when we start talking about features. We'll start talking about epics, user stories, acceptance criteria, we are still very far away from there.
Okay, that was what I meant by levels of requirement. Now you mentioned high level and low level requirement. That's what I was trying to ask.
Okay. Well, it's important you understand types of requirements very well. Yeah. Just follow it up as it flows. We're going to cover everything. All is required from you is to understand it where we are. Don't try to be fast because you're going to confuse yourself. At every point we are, do you understand it very well? Every lesson we carry out, do you understand? That is what is most important. If we are trying to think, we've not covered the means, you've already known that. If you already know that, there is no need for you to come here. All right. Thank you, everyone. And I will see you tomorrow when we are going to be discussing solutions evaluations.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Yeah, good night.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.